All right, guys, so we are into our episode 7 preview, and like Matthew pointed out, I'm a bit worried about this episode. A lot of the opening, or not opening, I guess people that have seen the episode, a lot of the reviews, or like the non-spoiler reviews, it's not coming out great. For me, weirdly, is I saw a lot of positive stuff, like maybe up till today. Like, I'd seen people saying, oh yeah, the episode was like one of the best of the season or whatnot, and then today, it's been almost the complete opposite. So, yeah, I'm a little interested because I know Ricky, has the episodes, he's already seen it, and he put in his Discord that he gives an episode a 3 out of 4. He seems very upset by the episode, so I'm very surprised by that. I'm interested to see what we're going to have. I don't want to make any, assumptions because I haven't seen it myself. I may have a different interpretation than Ricky does. Like, for instance, me and him for episode 5 I won't say we were on opposite ends of the spectrum, but I was more like it was like a pretty mid episode, and he was it was an episode he just didn't like. So we'll see. But hi Matthew. Also, the track title was "Chaos is a Ladder." It's just the track title for Littlefinger's speech, more or less. How are you, Chrissy? I've just seen mixed feelings from the general public that's watched the episodes. I really feel like of all the times I wanted actually to have seen the last couple episodes, because it's one of those things where it's like it is difficult to kind of pre-make content for next week, and I won't be out of town for the last episode, but I'll be gone Friday and Saturday more or less, so I won't have time to kind of get my content going. And been a pretty day, just based upon I already had my external hard drive get corrupted probably a couple of weeks back, and so that really set me back. I had to re-download all my stuff, and then this morning I was trying to get into my desk, and I was trying to move my desk a little bit forward because it was stuck on something, and I guess I pushed it too hard, and my external hard drive fell off of my table and then broke. So that was very frustrating, especially because I have all of my images I use for videos on that hard drive. I went through all of season 1 and just I went on a website and took scene by scene. It really helps, but I gotta redo all of that now, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah. I was so looking forward to this episode. I'm worried now. Yes, I am as well. Oh, really? It's been hyped up for... Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at, Steffi. I've seen reviews from both sides, and the problem is a lot of the early spoiler-free reviews that I'm hearing are not people I know of. I don't know of them. I just see, them on Twitter or X, and I'll just see something on there. But the thing is, Ricky, I really, respect his opinion. So him rating something really low is not a good sign for me, because I think me and him review things quite similarly. But we'll just have to see. We'll just have to see. Can't judge anything until it comes out. Got to see it with our own eyes. And we'll come up with maybe our own, opinions of it. But it will be an interesting stream tonight. I'm just going to give you guys a fair warning. I will try to keep up with chat, but I'm going to have 2 different guests on the stream tonight, because I will have stream after the episode on my channel. Me and Ricky decided to switch something up because we didn't end up doing our Monday stream, or we're not ending up doing our Monday stream for this episode. It's going to actually maybe be next week. So, yeah. But, yeah. Hi, Robbie. How are you? But let's kind of think about where we're going to go with episode 7. Set the stage, what's kind of been built up. This episode really feels like we may see some of that boiling feelings of King's Landing kind of explode. But there has to be something going on in this episode. Because in terms of where we are, we know that there's a shot. And this came out, I think, even before the season launched, where there's an image where you have Hugh, you have Adam at this table with Rhaenyra at council. You have to expect that that's going to happen, episode 8, or maybe, I don't know if it could happen this episode. I think that's an episode 8 scene, but you have to think there's going to be something that occurs in this episode that is going to shift it to where, people like maybe Hugh and Ulf are the people that end up going to Dragonstone, because that plot has to happen at some point. It's kind of why I thought we were going to see a little bit of that in the last episode. We didn't really. So King's Landing, I think, will be interesting to see how that goes about, given what we know is happening there. It seems like Alicent is really dealing with a lot of the issues of episode 6, where she's lost a lot of her power, a lot of her influence is gone. Aemond has kind of taken charge. Criston Cole and his forces have moved out of King's Landing. You have Damon, who it feels like Damon is going to be in a position where he's trying to get Oscar Tully to back him to get the Riverlands under his banner. So we'll see how that plays out in the episode. But yeah, I've heard there's some good and fair bit of meh in this one. Criticism for Damon's plot continues from what I've read, but I'm one who has loved his story this season, so I'll probably love it. Yeah, I think Damon, and this is where I'm the most scared, because I think if Ricky rated it that low, it probably had something to do with Damon's plot line. And so I hope what they are not going to do with Damon is they're going to do it a cop-out, right? We're going to have a whole season of development with Damon, trying to make him realize his faults and grow as a person. If they screw that up and give it to Rhaenyra, like Rhaenyra comes in as like a hero character or something with Damon, and Damon doesn't solve kind of the issues that he's been going through in the Riverlands, it's going to feel really wasted. And so as Damon's plot has been my favorite of the season, I will be interested to see how they go about doing that. But yeah. But yeah, I think the Damon thing, it's really hard to look at that and say, okay, this critic has a problem with it, because that's been going on since every single episode. And for me, I've never been on that train. I've thought Damon's arc's been pretty good so far. But yeah. But yeah, and this is the thing that's really bad, Matthew, is if they screw up Damon's landing point, if they screw up the natural arc that's being built there, it means that Damon's arc in the entire episode, or the entire season, was worthless, right? And then you kind of look at it and you go, okay, well, if Damon's arc, or so far, has been my favorite, it's been the most consistent, it has had the most impact on a character. If that is not done in a good way of concluding it, the rest of it didn't matter. Because it was all building up to a moment. If that moment doesn't land, or they don't do it properly, it's not going to work. Hi, Ghost, how are you? But yeah, we will be having on the Advocate tonight, and then also we'll be having on Ricky as well tonight. So it'll be interesting. Also, hi, wait. I don't know if... I have multi-stream on right now, and it seems like very delayed for my YouTube chat, but I don't know. We'll have to see how that goes. But I will be regularly streaming on Twitch as well, so if anybody doesn't want to check me out on Twitch, you can. It's not going to really change anything if you're a YouTube viewer. I'll also be streaming on here as well. But, yeah, because I'm doing it through Streamlabs now, it's much easier. I can do the events and not have them, be screwed up and all that stuff. But, yeah. I agree, Chrissy, right? Like, if they don't stick the landing for Damon, the whole season was pointless. Everybody that's been saying, oh, yeah, this is going too slow, or, he hasn't done much in terms of the story, they're going to be... That's completely right. Like, I'm going to look at Damon's arc and feel much worse about it, right? So, I don't know. I think that's, we'll see how they figure it out, but yeah. Steffi, I think we definitely could. I think this would be definitely the episode we maybe could see Alfred. Maybe talking with Damon, maybe not. I don't know. I do think, though, we could see him. I'm very perplexed as to where the season ends. And yeah, I think the natural endpoint is you're going to see a battle, I think, in terms of the Riverlands. It's been kind of building up to that pretty much the entire season. I think a battle between the Stark forces and the Northern forces and the Lannisters makes a lot of sense. It kind of feels like that natural season 1 ending point of Game of Thrones as well. I think we will see a lot of the build up to the Battle of the Gullet. I think one thing I'm interested by, because there's been a lot of rumors coming out about this, and I'm not exactly happy about it, is that we may see Rhaenyra and Alicent again. I hope that's not happening unless Rhaenyra takes King's Landing or something like that. I don't want to see that again, but we'll see. Standing on my point, Adam is Laenor's and Alan is Corlys's. It is interesting, Jamarks, is like if you go off the show, the characters don't really look that much alike. Like they have very different hair, even like in their faces and the way they look, they just don't look like that alike. That would be a very interesting theory. That's a very interesting theory. They've been dangling that Lannister Stark thing in front of us all season. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think they honestly should have had 10 episodes and have 2 seasons and have season 2 end with the Gullet. It would have been symbolic if they had 2 of Rhaenyra's children die at the end of the first season. Yeah, that would be really cool. I do think like 10 episodes would have been cool. But we'll have to see how they end it out. I'm not going to say like they needed 10 episodes yet. I just got to see how we end out. Agreed, Ghost. I think in terms of like you look at this idea where saw the Lannister army in the last episode, at the Golden Tooth. They're pretty, like they're right there on the doorstep of having a battle with the Riverland forces and the Stark forces potentially. So I think it makes sense to end it on some sort of battle there. I think they definitely could, Philip. Holding out hope that we see Otto at the end of this one. That'd be really cool if we did get to see Otto. I mean, we know there's an event that's going to happen in terms of the, canon stuff or the Fire and Blood stuff that Otto is kind of involved with, and that hasn't been the case yet in the show. They haven't really introduced that or taken that layer back. We'll have to see. No matter what, Corlys has some explaining to do this episode. Agreed. Like, they're going to have to decide, like, okay, these, kids, Adam and Alan, where did they come from, right? What is that going to be determined, right? Like, it makes sense to just say it was Laenor. It's a simpler answer in terms of like, oh, well, it keeps up Corlys's reputation, and you can say that maybe these kids were fathered before Laenor and Rhaenyra got together, so that it doesn't like Laenor is the easy answer because he's not here. Like there's nothing he can say against it, and it saves Corlys and Rhaenys' relationship type thing. But then you have the questions of, well, Laenor was seeming to be gay, so how did he have 2 kids? Either way, it's gonna be an interesting conversation. We need to see Corlys and Rhaenyra actually talk, like one-on-one talk, not a council meeting talk. If that does not happen in this season, I just like that's such a wasted opportunity in my opinion. And that's the other weird thing is like I'm kind of sitting on video ideas with the show right now because in its current state, I think they'd make great videos. Like I want to do a video on Rhaenyra in season 2 and why she hasn't worked. But it's like I can't make that video yet because I don't know how they're going to finish off season 2 and if they maybe could pull it back in. Because right now, Rhaenyra has been like the most disappointing character the entire season. I wish we got more of Rhaenyra's relationship with Aegon. They focused too much on Rhaenyra and Alicent. Yeah, it would have been really cool to see how the two like thought of each other, right? Even when you think about Aegon, who doesn't want to become king, right? He feels like he's stealing, his half sister's birthright or whatnot. Viserys did not want Aegon to be heir. Would have been cool to see like their dynamic, and I guess there is definitely an age gap between the two, but it would have been interesting to see like what do they think about each other, right? Because Rhaenyra doesn't really think about Aegon. He thinks about Alicent. She thinks about Otto, but yeah. You think we'll see little nuance and more dark side to Rhaenyra now? I want to say yes, but I've been asking that question since the beginning of the season. Like, I'd love to say yes, but at the same time, I'm sitting here and I'm going, I just don't know. Like, I don't know when we're gonna get that. I don't like. They're giving me the idea that they're going for a very, very slow burn, but I think it makes the character of Rhaenyra less interesting by a lot. That could also be an option. Go with Vaemond. Or are they really going to stretch out her being benevolent until after the Gullet? Maybe they save it for season 3, but I just feel like it was such a wasted opportunity. And like, as of right now, I think season 2, we're in a weird spot because I think I like half the episodes of the season, and then the other half I have question marks about. So it's like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, season 2 so far to me has been very disappointing. That doesn't mean the season's been bad. Like, I did a whole thing about how episode 6 isn't bad. But the show is like not improved from season 1 like that much, or if you could argue maybe it even hasn't. Like, I don't know. I really thought it means I thought we would have like, gone up from here. The Saint Rhaenyra plotline has cost too much for the development of her character and others. I agree, Robbie. I agree. Yeah, but my thing is, there is no way there's a dragon rider for Corlys' family until Rhaenys. So where do they go from there? I mean, my idea would be just the Velaryons. It's possible. I mean, they have Valyrian blood. They would have been around during the time of the dragons. Maybe this is like the first time they've had access to actually like riding like dragons outside of being, married into the Targaryens. I think it's very plausible to just say that the Velaryons always had the chance to ride dragons but never got the opportunity to. Right? They're so blood, like they're the closest blood to the Targaryens. That's why the Targaryens always marry into the Velaryons. I don't really make a whole like point of they're not married into the Targaryens and stuff like that. It's like we don't even know that, right? Like the Targaryens and Velaryons, even before like Aegon's conquest, their blood already could have been tied in together already. So I feel like that's a season 1 issue since both Aegon and Rhaenyra were the same vicinity throughout. Yeah, that's definitely a season 1 issue, Ghost. I meant it completely on season 1. It's not a season 2 issue. I think they already made that dark side switch with Rhaenyra in episode 6. She slapped her council mother. She took off on the dragon without telling anyone, but she comes across weak. See, I like that we got a little inclination of it, right, Steffi? But it doesn't feel like the way they're kind of painting it doesn't feel like Rhaenyra is kind of taking more of a villainous step, right? Because that's what the character is from the book. The book, Rhaenyra is overcome by grief and loss and sadness and anger that she starts to become non-rational. She starts to become a villain, and she is like from the very get-go, right? It's like she starts out, I think, in like her early years being like, the protagonist character, and then as soon as she makes that flip to, the pre-dance stuff, like her and Alicent, to that connection in the book, it feels like Rhaenyra is not a good character anymore. She's like very, like in the middle. Like she can do good things, she do bad things, and then it's slowly her losing the good side of her as the war continues, right? So I don't know. I agree though, Batman. Like personally, I don't think the slow burn with Rhaenyra makes sense. I think it just takes too long. You need to develop the character. You can't have the character be the exact same from season 1. Sorry I'm late. I was reacting to the Marvel. Don't be sorry or anything like that. But yeah, I did watch, by the way, no spoilers of course, but I did watch the X-Men and Deadpool movie. Fantastic. Best thing Marvel has put out since Endgame. Was hilarious, was great in terms of theme, overall message. Fantastic film. I would highly recommend. We have so much hype for this season, Grease. I remember you saying that you had no worries for it before it was. Yeah, I had no worries for this season. Because I thought they did a good enough job with season 1 that season 2 would be so much easier to write. And that should be the case, right? Because season 2, like, you kind of just got to hit a couple things and just, it's a bridge season. Like, season 2 is a bridge season. As long as you didn't fumble, like, the character work and do, like, really weird stuff to like, make episodes pop off more, episode 3, you should have been fine. And, like, I thought, like, season 2, all you have to do is you take the criticism of season 1, you take the things that didn't work in season 1, you put those into season 2, and the show would have been even better. But they just haven't done that to me. I agree, Matthew. I agree. Um, I rewatched episode 9. My mom loved the Rhaenys Dragon Pit scene. The 2 each their own, I guess. I still hated that scene. Yeah, that scene's bad. I can see where people like it. It's like the spectacle and stuff like that, but it's not a good scene. It completely ruined Rhaenys' character. I also think, Matthew, I agree though, in the terms of like, think about every prediction video I was making about Rhaenyra before season 2 came out. I was talking about, okay, this is where Rhaenyra is going to start turning more dark. She looked like she had the anger and fire in her eyes. And then we go to season 2, and it's just her kind of grieving a little bit. She doesn't say much in the first episode. She doesn't really progress much as a character. Like, it almost feels like she almost forgets everything that happens after episode, like, 1. And so, yeah, I do agree. Visenya equals Rhaenys, yeah, or Rhaenyra, yeah, I think that's a good comparison. Rhaenyra is like Visenya, Catelyn, and Cersei all intertwined. Apparently, there are more moments in episode 7 where Rhaenyra is still hesitant for war. Yeah, I'm over that. I'm over us having some hesitancy towards war. Like, I don't know. I'm just kind of over it. I'm kind of over this like part where we're still sitting here going, oh yeah, we can't go to war, we can't do all this stuff. It's like the thing that makes the Dance of the Dragons work so well is it is so violent. It's so horrible. And it's not because it's saying that war should be glorified. It's to show that war, how horrible it is. The anti-war theme. And they're kind of going for this like, oh yeah, we shouldn't have war. Like that's the anti-war theme, but it's not compelling to watch. I don't know. I mean, you guys know how I feel about Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra was the character I was looking forward to the most in season 2. And I don't think they've done her that well in season 2 for me. Rhaenyra in the book is very similar to Visenya. Not like in terms of like, military skill or stuff like that, but in terms of personality, Rhaenyra and Visenya are quite alike. Yes, Radical. For me, personally, I know Spider-Man No Way Home, a lot of people love that movie. I don't like that movie. I think it has too many plot holes. It has too many issues. Like, it seems like a movie where they wrote the end. They knew what they wanted the movie to be, but they didn't know how to get there. And like, when I watched the Deadpool movie, like, there's obviously going to be cameos and stuff like that. It felt like it was earned. It felt like the plot made sense. Like, you could follow everything and not ask a question. Like, Spider-Man No Way Home. Why didn't you just talk to the college before trying to mind wipe the entire planet? Like, it's stuff like that where I'm just like, not a big fan of that movie. Since this is the second to last episode of the season, do you think something major will happen this episode? It's traditionally Game of Thrones to have the second to last episode, but yeah, I think we're gonna see, a lot of the Dragon Seed plot play out in this episode. I think we're probably gonna see something with Rhaena in terms of Sheep Stealer. Also, if you think about, they're being supposed to be shipped off to Pentos. We'll see how they do that, because that's a major plot point of the war. But we'll see. We'll see how that goes down. I think we're going to see something at King's Landing that's going to push, Hugh and Ulf probably out of King's Landing, I would assume. But yeah. Children have died. It's getting silly with the hesitation. Plus, she knows his winter death. Agreed. I just don't understand that whole idea of, we still can have peace. No, it's been proven we can't. Hi, Maz. How are you? I think we will get the Dragon Seeds and the Triarchy plot in this episode. Maybe we see the Winter Wolves. Agreed. Marvel Spider-Man films are overrated. Batman, I actually agree with that take. I'm not a huge fan of Tom Holland Spider-Man in general, but then again, episode 9 of season 1 was a letdown. I was expecting a great adaptation of the Green Council and Aegon's coronation, but yeah, episode 9 of season 1 is one of my least favorite episodes of the entire show. It fundamentally, I don't think, was a coherent episode. I thought it didn't ruin Alicent's character arc, but it like heavily contradicted Alicent's motivations and her as a character. And it's not one of these things where it's like, oh, well, we're human beings. We always contradict our beliefs, but like, you don't build up a character to do something the whole season and then at the last second contradict it in a way that didn't really make any sense. I don't know. If you hadn't read Fire and Blood, do you think your enjoyment of season 2 would have been higher or lower? It would have been higher. I think it would have been way higher. I've talked about this a lot. Like, certain moments that, like, as a book fan, just are not as good. In the show, they're just not. Not Fire and Blood. Blood and Cheese was not good compared to the like adaptation version or the Fire and Blood version. So that kind of like really put a bad taste in my mouth for episode 1. Episode 3, I still don't think I would have liked the whole Alicent and Rhaenyra thing in episode 3, even if I hadn't like read the book. That one just doesn't make sense from a narrative and show perspective, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I think I definitely would have viewed it better if I hadn't read the book. But I I don't know. Aren't they too young to be going to Pentos right now? Well, Batman, that's what it's been said, right? Like we got that from Lady Aaron, like that they're going to Pentos, right? That's been accepted. They're gonna be leaving soon. And so it seems like the way they're going with the plot, it seems like Raina maybe isn't gonna go with them, or maybe she tames Sheep Stealer or something like that, and then decides to go with them. Like something is going to occur, in my opinion, where they're supposed to go to Pentos, it doesn't happen. Something else happens. Now, I am a little interested to see how they're going to do the Aegon and Viserys plot. So book readers, you know what I'm talking about, but it doesn't make sense if you think about it. Like, Aegon's much younger than he is in the book when all these things happen. And also his dragon is much younger as well. So it makes you think, like, what are they going to do with that plot? Because it definitely cannot be done the way it is in the book. So that's where I'm like very interested to see where we are going to go with that. Some people think the Battle of the Gold is tonight. Well, if you think that, you're drunk. It's not happening. Like there would be, like we would see in the trailers, like shots of the battle, or we would see ships, you know, out in the sea or something like. And we've got none of that. Like Rook's Rest, right? We had some of that stuff in the early trailers, like the first trailer for the season had that in it. There's no Battle of the Gold's not happening this season. It's not. Oh, you didn't like Deadpool? Jesus, I mean, to each their own. I loved it. I thought it was great. I don't know, like Matthew. Maybe it's because I took a step back. I haven't been watching any of the Marvel products really at all. Like I think Thor: Love and Thunder was the last Marvel product I saw, and it was something where I was like, it kind of broke me. I was like, okay, not watching any Marvel stuff for a while. Don't care about Marvel stuff. Like, and it's another part of it is like, so Deadpool and Wolverine. It's I guess it's a little bit of spoilers. Not really though. It's like what I think most people thought Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange was going to be. There's a lot of cameos. There's a lot of like really cool, I don't know, I guess callbacks to older projects and movies and shows and stuff like that. And I don't know, as someone that was like a Marvel fan before, you know, Iron Man came out, it was really nice to see some of those old characters and things like that. And it didn't like feel forced either. But then you also had, I think, Ryan Reynolds' comedy with Deadpool always gets me. I love the Hugh Jackman performance of Wolverine. It's so weird because like, when I was growing up and even now, Wolverine and Deadpool were my favorite characters, especially from Marvel Ultimate Alliance. And it was a really good movie. It was a really good movie for like that. I don't know. Also, K paid. Thank you for subscribing. I usually don't see those in the middle of the streams, but thank you. By the way, the intro scene or the intro sequence for the Deadpool movie is hilarious. It is, yeah, it's great. I really want to see George's reaction to the season. His Nada blogs are really funny concerning some plot points in the season. Yeah, I actually have a video that I'm going to make, I think, for next week. Because I was going to make it this week, but then I was like, I already got some stuff I wanted to do for this week, so I'll save it for next week. But I want to talk about like kind of how he views House of the Dragon. Like we've talked about it on stream quite a lot, I feel like, especially on our after the episode streams. But I do want to do like an actual condensed video about it. Agreed, Matthew. I think the multiverse stuff is like I'm kind of done with it, but like I think that the Wolverine Deadpool movie did it in a way that I think was acceptable. And it was like I could actually like get behind it. Like a lot of the other movies have just not really like done it well, in my opinion. The viewer knows the war happens regardless, even if we don't know all the details. But the characters live it and shouldn't have hindsight. I like that they try to avoid war, even if it's not working. Like I like that too, but there comes a point when you keep doing the same plot point over and over and over again, right? Like episode 3. In my opinion, should have represented the last time that we saw characters like Rhaenyra and Alicent saying, we can stop this. It's over. Like, that should have been the last time. And I didn't like that scene regardless, but at least it should have put in Rhaenyra's mind that the war has to happen. There's no situation where there's going to be a peace. And I just hate that, especially if they do that in episode 7. We cannot keep doing the same plot points over and over and over again because there's no character growth. It's like if we had Daemon and his dreams or whatever, and it's the same dream over and over again. You're repeating the same thing. That's the thing I've liked about Daemon's plot is it's not always the same thing. It's different things. It's him and his guilt for maybe grooming Rhaenyra and his even relationship with Rhaenyra. Putting that into question the dark deeds he's done in the past. Him with Viserys not being there for his family and feeling like he should have been the one that was loved by Viserys more than Rhaenyra, things like that. So I like that dynamic where it's changing parts of Daemon and him reacting to that situation, running away from his problems like he tried to do in the last episode. I do love that because that's good character work. But for Rhaenyra, nothing is really changing. She has one plot point, and it's we got to avoid war. And people don't want me to do things. It's it's the same thing over and over and over again. And she's not changing as a character, really. We saw glimpses of it in the last episode, and maybe one scene in episode 5, but she hasn't really changed a lot. And that's the problem, I think. I still had hope that people do for... Nettles isn't showing up. Yeah, I'm just going to throw that out there. It's not happening. I agree, Ghost. That's what I'm questioning. I'm very interested to see how we're going to see that. Maybe, Matthew, that could make sense. Maybe. I haven't been to the movies since the new Planet of the Apes movie came out, so it was fun. You'll love to see that. I'm drunk and I don't even think that. Maz, what are you getting, a little tipsy today? I'm ready for Sea Smoke to just be happy. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Could be. We could see the fall of King's Landing. I mean, they've definitely been building up to it. I thought they were going to save it for next season, but that could be something that happens. See, my thing is, though, radical. I saw that. I know a lot of people really like that Robert Downey Jr. is coming back to the MCU, but I'm why? I know it's for money. It's for money. It's to bring people back, but he's Iron Man. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. I don't understand why we would put him into Doctor Doom. Even in world, what's the explanation going to be? That this is some alternative, Tony Stark? And now he's Doctor... I'm very confused as to why they did that. I have to see what it's going to happen from it, but it seems like a really, really weird thing. That is fair, Steffi. That's fair. Philip, I agree. That rainy stuff just didn't make sense to me. I mean, and also when you think about it, how much budget it did to make that scene happen, and you think about, okay, they could have done that for some other scenes. We could have gotten more of the War of the Stepstones. We could have actually seen more of it with this budget that was put in episode 9. I don't know. It's just weird. Iron Man is still objectively the best. Oh, I don't agree with that, Matthew, at all. But I agree. I mean, Doctor Doom being cast by Robert Downey Jr. just does not make sense to me. It seems like they're just desperate for trying to get people to, watch their stuff. Again, radical. I just don't like this idea. I don't like again, unless the idea is that Rhaenyra is taking King's Landing in episode 8 or episode whatever. I don't think it's going to be this episode, but I think, if it's episode 8, okay. Then they have the conversation, fine. But if it's another thing where Rhaenyra is teleporting into King's Landing again, and there's already seems like there's a leaked image of that's occurring, I will be pissed off. If we watch the episode and tonight and it's something where Rhaenyra snuck into King's Landing again, or Alicent snuck into King's Landing, or not King's Landing, Dragonstone, I'm going to be sitting here, I'm going to be pissed off. I hope they don't do that. If they meet again, I hope it's a neutral meeting ground, it's an actual official, or maybe secretive, but official, parlay type thing, but I don't know. Yeah, but I think Philip, and this is the thing that I talk about, is like I think George R. R. Martin is voicing opinion because he's critical of it, and he still wants it to be very good. He still has investment in it. He's not like, Game of Thrones. I think after like the early seasons of Game of Thrones, he just didn't care about the show anymore. It wasn't his story, right? It was just some other person's story of his material. Casper, I won't answer that just because I don't want to spoil things, but I would say just in a great way. I want it to be brutal, Casper. Yes, alternate Tony multiverse. Yeah, that seems very desperate to me. I don't understand. Why don't you just cast a good actor to play Doctor Doom? Why are we like this has always been my problem though. Like even with Spider-Man. Spider-Man felt like it was like a part of an Iron Man thing. It's like no, like I don't know. I just feel like they use Iron Man and they use Robert Downey Jr. to just get people in seats for other projects, and I don't like that. I think it was a mistake not showing Team Green in the immediate aftermath of Aemond killing Luke. It should have been treated as something more dire, and the stakes should have escalated from there. I agree. I think there are some questions I have with the start of the season, where they decided to start it, right? Having us not being, again, this is the way I would have proposed the season. My intro to the season would have been directly after episode 10. Like when you see that zoom into Rhaenyra's face, I would have continued that scene and then showed like maybe Rhaenyra's turmoil, whether she's angry, pissed off, or she breaks down like she does in season 2, like how they did it. Then cut to Aemond flying back to King's Landing, and maybe you see some of the issues or stress he's facing, and then he lands down and he decides to say, oh yeah, I purposely tried to kill Luke, and how do Alicent react to that? How do all these characters react to it? I think that would have been more compelling of a start than what they ended up going for, but we'll see. Do you think they'll confirm Laenor's death or alive? I think he's probably dead. I think they almost confirmed it just based off the fact that Sea Smoke was able to be claimed. But maybe it'll be confirmed in this episode. I don't know. I hope Alicent doesn't go to Dragonstone and F's. If she does, I hope they don't let her leave like Rhaenyra did. Agreed. Like, dude, I have a really bad sinking feeling in my stomach about them doing something really stupid. With either that, I think this is where I'm at, right? I have a really like sinking feeling they're gonna do something stupid with either Rhaenyra and Alicent together, or Rhaenyra somewhere in King's Landing, or they're gonna ruin Daemon's plot. Those are the two things right now that I'm like, I really hope they don't do. But based upon Ricky's like review, I feel like one of those two things is gonna happen. If both of them happen, you're gonna see pissed off Grease Goblin tonight. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah. I agree, Matthew, on when they should meet. What would be a neutral zone? I don't know, just like the Riverlands, like a place where like they both like are just meeting on equal footing, right? It's not like one's going to Dragonstone, one of them's going to King's Landing, right? What if Alicent writes to Rhaenyra and tells her to visit at Rook's Rest? Like if they met up at Rook's Rest, I'd have no problems with that, right? It's like kind of like neutral territory. I'd be okay with that. Um, Agreed. And Maz, like Doctor Doom is one of my favorite villains, so I was really hoping they would do something crazy with it. But like the Robert Downey Jr. thing, just I'm already like, okay, I'm kind of already checked out of it. But I don't know. I have an idea for a future video. After the season is concluded, you can make a video about how you think the season should have happened and plots that could have been done better. Yeah, I definitely could do something like that. I do have a video that already I'm going to be making as soon as the season ends, which is going to be kind of like it's not that topic exactly, but it's like I'm going to have on, so the Advocate we're having on tonight, and then Ricky tonight, but we're also going to do a like season review on the channel. And we're going to kind of talk about the whole season, overall thoughts and all that, but that could be good. But yeah, I respect your opinion as well, Radical, and thank you for always being in here. Appreciate you. Agreed. I talked about this in a video yesterday. If you didn't see it, the handling of Laenor's, character at the end of season 1, or not really the end, like kind of around the middle, wasn't very good. If this is the way it was concluded, it wasn't very good. Episode 4 was my favorite still. Episode 4 is definitely a good episode. I think the Rhaenyra and Alicent meetup might happen again before the fall. I really hate that. Ricky has seen. So I think, the problem he has in Germany is apparently with his like HBO, that he actually gets the episode an hour after like everybody else does. So if he was going to do these reviews like right after, it would be like he'd have to be at work already, basically. So he gets the episodes early. He's watched episode 7. I don't think he's watched episode 8 yet. I think he watches them like the day of, just earlier on in the day. He was not a fan of this episode. Ricky put this as, I think, like a 3 to 4. Let me read out what his spoiler-free thoughts were. So he said, I'm going to have some foul language here. Dakota would hate this, but he says, I fucking hate episode 7 with a passion. I'm sorry. This makes me remember the times of season 5, Stannis and all. I can't defend this shit. It's a 3 or 4 out of 10. I don't even care to ever rewatch that. So, yeah. And then somebody asks, what was it? What was the problem? And he said it was a multitude of things. And he said, he'll be on the stream tonight to discuss. So he was really displeased by the episode. So that's why I'm scared. That's why I'm sitting here. I'm trying to figure out what could piss him off that much to like hate the episode. Like, that is insane. A 3 to 4? Like, he gave, I think, episode 5 like a 5.5 maybe, or a 5 or a 6. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, that's my thing, right? Like, I've also seen on like Twitter or X, people I don't really know, but they are like, they have large followings or whatever. I haven't really seen their content or anything. They say it's really good. So I don't know. It's weird. We'll have to see. Why do you think they didn't show Adam claiming sea smoke? Feel like that would have been a good character. Yeah, I talked about this right after the episode. It's one of my questionable moments from episode 6. I guess it was budget, because you're going to have to show a lot of dragon stuff in the next 2 episodes and, episode 4. Maybe they didn't have the budget because, a person interacting with the dragon would have probably cost a lot more. Maybe that's why, but I feel like it's a really important moment. Like, it's the first of the dragon seeds, like, happening. Like, it's a very important moment. I don't know. Steffi, I agree. I think Alicent and Rhaenyra, I think I loved all of their stuff in season 1. I think the only, like, this is what I always say. Viserys was the best character of season 1, followed by Alicent. Alicent was the best character, and for me personally, I'm a big Rhaenyra, I'm Team Black, but Alicent was the best written character all the way up until like the beginning of episode 9, and that's when her whole character fell apart. And I was like, well, okay, unfortunate. And that's still kind of plagued season 2. Like, part of what they did is also was like, it kind of screwed it up. You think the season has been mid? Cam, I'd say so far it's been good, right? I'd still give the season like a 7.5, 8 out of 10, like right around the lines of like season 1. It's been just the season has not been consistent in terms of quality. Like, you go from episode 1, which in terms of, I guess, a book viewer, I didn't like that much. Like, I liked everything outside of Blood and Cheese, right? It was kind of a shaky episode for me. Episode 2 was fantastic. Still my favorite episode of the season. Episode 3 was really good until the very like last part of it, which was very bad. I still think if it's not the worst scene of the entire series, it's right behind the Rainy stuff. Episode 4, back to being great. Episode 5 was pretty mid, pretty okay, pretty forgettable. And episode 6 I thought was really good. So, it's just all over the place. Could you do another hot take stream? Yeah, we might do one for episode 7. I really liked doing that on Wednesday. It was just very easy on me. I really like doing that stream. So we probably will. We'll probably do some more of that. Eric, when are you going to welcome some of us to the live? Well, what do you mean? Just like come on Discord and like I've thought about doing this. Now this is a good idea. We have like a topic, right? So whatever the theory is, let's say it's is N plus A the real theory? And you have two people that disagree on it. So let's say it's like Dakota, who's a big N plus A guy, and then I think Ashley is R plus L. I'm not sure on that. And when would you see them debate like theories like that? That would be cool. That would be really cool. I've thought about doing that, but I don't know. Like, I don't know. That'd be very interesting, right? If one of you come on and you just start saying some wild shit that gets me canceled, I mean, it could be a problem. I don't know. How do you feel about Aemond picking up on Helena's visions and use it to strategize for the war effort? I would like anyone at all to react to Helena having this like stuff. Like having these visions. Nobody reacts to it. I don't know. I see many non-book readers. Yeah, I think a lot of non-book readers don't like Daemon's plotline because I think they don't know the Daemon that we all know, right? The character is very morally complex. He's kind of a gray character. He's not that in season 1. Season 1, he is a straight villain. I rated Daemon, who is one of the main characters of season 1, as like a B borderline C character for season 1. Like, he's not a good character in season 1. He's just a straight villain. And he's not even the most compelling villain either. So, like, I don't know. I think people like, maybe they like Daemon in that villain kind of position, and then you come into season 2 and they're trying to kind of fix it, give him more layers and stuff, and that takes time. People don't like that, so I don't know. I agree, Steffi. I think the character and the actor that did Leonard were really good. Like this is worser than yeah. This is like from what I've seen with Ricky. This is his lowest I've ever seen him rate any of the House of the Dragon episodes. So like by far, like he hates it so much he didn't want to rewatch it. Like that tells me this is his least favorite episode he has watched in House of the Dragon, which is not a good sign. I don't know. Oh yeah, if Dunkin' Egg is not that good, Ricky will be like really pissed. Like I am gonna be really pissed tonight if they fuck up some stuff. Like because I love the dance. This is what I like. Me and Ricky are the opposites. Ricky really wants Dunkin' Egg. I really wanted the dance. And so if they fuck it up, I don't know. We'll see. You think Ricky is trolling? I don't think so because I haven't seen him do something like that, and he seemed very like angry. It seemed like one of those things where it's like you read a really bad comment on YouTube and you go to respond and then you don't think and you send it. Like that's how I used to be. Like if I saw a hate comment, I would respond to it. And sometimes now like I'll read a comment that I think is really dumb or it's like very just hateful towards me for no reason, and I'll type a response, be very condescending. And then I'll just backspace. I won't actually send it, and I'll just block the person. Like, I don't know. It's a little it's like therapy to me. I don't know. I feel like Ryan doesn't get who Book Rainier. I don't know. So far, he doesn't even like come close to what Rainier is in the book. And here's the thing, though: if they mess up Dunkin' Egg, it's worse than them messing up House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon, I get it. It's harder to do. You don't have dialogue that's given to you on a silver platter. You don't have exactly everything of what happened. You kind of have to go make it up kind of as you go. Dunkin' Egg is a written story. Everything is there for you. Yes, you can make it, stretch it out a little bit, give it some stuff that happens in between, novellas, or you can add some stuff in there. But if you screw that up when it's there on a silver platter for you, it's not good. It's not good. That's all I'm saying. I really hope they end season 2. And yeah, I really hope like I have the opposite opinion of Ricky. Like I would love to be like going into this episode and go, that was fantastic. And then maybe me and him talk about our differences of it, but like we'll have to see. I can't judge something I haven't seen yet, so I'm trying to keep an open mind. Could we get season 3 by April 2026? Yeah, I'd say 2 years. I think 2 years would be pretty good. I don't know. Do you think Ricky hated episode 7 as a book reader or just thought the quality was okay, so this is a big thing about Ricky, where I think me and him are a bit different. Ricky, I think, is a lot more open to interpretation of like book changes and stuff, and like he doesn't like Fire and Blood as much as I do. I love Fire and Blood. And so I don't think book changes matter as much to him as they do to me. Like Blood and Cheese, I had more issues than maybe he did, but even he agreed like it could have been much better. I think if he didn't like the episode, it's because it doesn't work with the continuity of the show. And also, in a combination of that, also didn't follow through with the continuity of the book series either. But I think it's going to be a mix of both, but I would lean more into it. It doesn't, for him, it's probably going to be the continuity didn't work. And also, like, the writing of certain things just were not executed properly is probably what I would say. I agree with you, Batman. I don't think N+A is like makes sense, but you know, I know I get why people like it, and so you know, it is what it is. Season 1 was better than season 2 to me so far. Yeah, I would say so as well. I think, you know, I've been kind of back and forth on this, trying to like project that season 2 is going to be better, but season 1 is a more coherent story than season 2 is. That's true. That's true, Jesus. That's true. That's true. What about live theory crafting on Discord? I felt like there are so many theories that you can make up still. That's true. Like one theory I want to make a video on is like, because I made a video talking about Bloodraven and how he could have some influence on young Griff. I think Ashley pointed out a great point, like maybe that Bloodraven could also have been hearing in on Varys is like talking to Evan. But I need more information. I need her to give me more information because I want to do a video like that. That'd be really cool. Yeah, Radical, but I don't even, like, I just want people to, like, have a dialogue with the character. Like, Helena doesn't even feel like she has a, like, any type of association with the other characters of the story. I don't know. Yes, as a non-book reader, I like Daemon in season 1. I like how unapologetic he was, and it was compelling to watch. Yeah, I think, you know, Matt Smith is a fantastic actor. I think, you know, it was enjoyable because you never knew what Daemon was going to do. He had that unpredictability in the show. I just think that works way better with non-book readers because book readers don't get that same sense of that kind of character. Like, he is kind of that, like, Matt Smith does a decent job of, like, what I think Daemon would be, but the actions that he actually does don't really follow what I think the Daemon of the book is. And I think the Daemon of the book is way more competent than the Daemon of the show, but I don't know. I want Daron. That's all I'm saying. I never rewatch episodes unless it's with people who haven't seen them yet. Well, I can't say that because I'll give you guys my schedule for today. So I have preview stream with you guys, and that usually goes to, you know, about right up to the episode, more or less. And yeah. Also, Crow's Seal, thank you for following on Twitch. I can't really see Twitch chat for the most part, so if you're trying to talk on Twitch, I can't really hear you, or I can't really see you for some reason. Well, I'll have to pull up Twitch chat and another stream, but yeah. But yeah, if you do like using Twitch instead of YouTube, that is there. It's in the description, I believe, on YouTube. But talking about that, so I do my previews show. I watch the episode with my dad. I come down here immediately after, get everything set up. So whether that's, if the stream's on my channel, I gotta, you know, get the thumbnail up, get all that stuff up, and get that ready for you guys. That usually goes for about an hour and a half. Directly after, I then probably take like a 10-minute break, rewatch the episode, take notes of what happens in all the scenes and stuff like that, and go through that. And then if I have time or if I'm feeling up to it, I do my member and Patreon reviews of the episode. Those are about 10-15 minutes. And then if I'm really wanting to talk about something, so for instance, episode 3, big divisive moment, or Blood and Cheese, very questionable, I'll probably record those that night too. So I am basically doing House of the Dragon stuff until like probably midnight. So yeah. I like Daemon even if I am show only for in House of the Dragon. I would read a novelization, but I don't want in-world history books. That's fair. That is fair. If they do a Blackfire Rebellion series and mess it up, I mean, I'm gonna be mad if they mess up anything. A Song of Ice and Fire. I don't have as much connection to the Blackfire Rebellion as I do like the dance, but I would still be mad. Yeah. Steffi, I think it just has to be they either mess up character arcs or the plot of the episode doesn't make sense. I've talked about my big two. My big two is if we see something stupid happen with Rhaenyra and Alicent like meeting again, and it's done really badly, like executed badly, or Rhaenyra like sneaks into King's Landing again, which would be stupid, or Daemon's character arc just gets fumbled and isn't handled well. I don't know, something like that. What are your thoughts on Aemond being more of a threat to Aegon compared to in the books? I always found it honorable of Aemond how he is fit and wants the throne, but he is loyal to his bro. I don't mind at all. Aemond becoming like more of a villain, becoming someone that, you know, threatens Aegon and those things. I don't mind that at all. I think that's a really good change. I like the idea of giving Aemond more personality, right? Because we don't really see Aemond as a kid in the book at all. We don't know what he was like when he was growing up and what made him into the person that he was. So I actually do like quite a lot that they kind of gave him more to do. Agreed, Radical. They could definitely do something like that. I also do think like they did the green side of things pretty well. I think they made them a little bit more interesting than in the book. Also, yeah, if they make the Blackfires like evil, that would be dumb. I hope season 3 goes back to 10 episodes with how many events from the book they have to get to. Agreed. Hi, Ashley. How are you? Apparently, they start filming House of the Dragon season 3 end of this year. Love to see it. As soon as they wrap on Dunk and Egg, they're going to jump into shooting season 3. Yeah, like basically this is how I imagine how it's going to go for the next couple years. It's going to be House of the Dragon in 1 year. The next year it'll be Dunk and Egg. The next year it'll be the next House of the Dragon season. We'll go back to Dunk and Egg. It'll just be like a 2-year production for each show, so you'll have one coming out each year. So that way HBO always has a Song of Ice and Fire project going. Reese, you're missing a house called Gain heraldry in your background. Well, actually, I can't please everybody, okay? First Dakota wanting Frey shit, and now you want Clegane stuff. I got the Lannister. I got the Starks and the Lannisters. Also, this always messes me up that it's like backwards. It always messes me up. But I have the Lannisters at least. That's all I can do for you right now. I also don't have enough stuff. I was going to actually because my camera goes much wider than this. Like if I wanted to, like in my settings, I could make the camera go out like where it's like probably over here more and over there more. Put some of my other stuff down here, but I don't have enough yet. And like I don't have this stuff I want to do with that yet because I want to bring down on one side I want to have my disc plates because I have like Ned on the throne season 1. I want to put it on the Stark side. I then have Stannis's like emblem for display. I want to put that like down here somewhere. And then on that side, I have a Blackfire thing I want to put like right here. Then down here I want to put something. And then I also want to have like lights that go like from the top of these banners and then go down the edges and stuff. But we'll see. Also, I want to do stuff for Christmas as well. I want to put like a Christmas tree over here too. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Maybe, yeah, if Rhaenyra bails out Daemon, I can't comprehend what the writing scheme was. Like, I don't want to talk about it yet because it hasn't happened, but like, just trying to speculate on the things that could be bad in the episode really, like, that's all I'm going to say. I'd be mad if they gave Otto's victory in the book to Aemond with the Triarchy plot. I agree. Takes away Otto's big schemes and stuff. One season special leading up to the tragedy of Summerhall would be sick. If we see the tragedy of Summerhall, that would be fantastic. I want the entire Targaryen dynasty adapted to TV. Do you think we will get it? Not the entire. No, we're not going to get the entire one. Jaehaerys's reign would not make for a good television show. There's not really much conflict that happens. Like, not really a lot of like political drama either going on at that time, unless you look at like the Great Council. Like, you could do the stuff maybe leading right before House of the Dragon takes place. You can't do that. You could do Aegon's conquest and the Dornish, conquest. You could do that stuff. You could do Aenys and Maegor, but you can't do the entire thing. Like, there's just too many like moments where there's not much happening that and we don't know like a lot of stuff going on. Harold Westerling, he's on vacation. He's in Florida. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. These banners, I could have gotten a Baratheon one, but these came in a 3-pack. I would have had to get a Baratheon one. And the background doesn't really fit 4. It only fits 3 right now. And if I did it wider, it wouldn't look right because one side would have more space than the other. Right now, this is the background. And yeah, we'll see. When it gets closer to like Christmas time, I think it'll probably get updated more. But for now, it's gonna be there. Agreed. We also could have like Aegon's conquest going as well. So maybe one year we actually might have like 2 A Song of Ice and Fire projects come out. That'd be interesting. That's disrespectful, Maz. I know you're drunk, but Prince Baelor's helm. That feels bad. And that just doesn't make sense. I agree, Ashley. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. You should know this the best with Rhaenys. That's all I'll say. Again, Cam, I can't say much about the no Nettles thing. It's disappointing because Nettles, in my opinion, is one of the most unique characters in Fire and Blood, in my opinion. Like, she's one of the most memorable ones, right? Because she's just so different, right? She's this girl that, she's very common born, represents kind of the small folk, very similar to like Dunk, for instance, in Night of the Seven Kingdoms. And, she ends up in a position where she has a dragon and she's, all of a sudden, she represents the small folk, right? And you kind of just not having that character in the show just feels weird. And maybe it's like you didn't want to introduce all these new characters all in one season, right? Adam, Alan, Hugh, Ulf. There's a lot of different big characters, that are going into the season. And so, I don't know. We haven't seen the execution of it, right? We haven't seen how they're going to adapt that plot line. It seems like Rhaena's going to be given a lot of it. But we'll see. We'll just have to see where that really goes. I don't really have an opinion too much on it yet. I just wish we had gotten to see Nettles. Radical? No. I don't want episodes focused on Jaehaerys getting drunk. I think they could do Baelor the Blessed, maybe. I don't. Maybe. Mayhaps Radical. I don't know about that one. Take that Lannister crap down and put Stannis the Manus flag in its space with the Starks, since Dakota hates them. If I was going to take down any of them, it would be the Lannister one. Because, I mean, okay. Targaryens, they are my favorite house. Okay? You got the Starks, which are probably like I'd say they're probably my third or fourth favorite house. It's between like the Baratheons are probably second, Blackfires are third, and then I'd say the Starks are maybe the Starks are third. I don't know, something like that. That would be cool, Radical. But one thing would be really cool if we got a Game of Thrones game. That's all I'm saying. I agree, Ashley. I agree. Do you think George is pissed about no? Yeah, I think he's definitely pissed about no Nettles. That's one of his most creative characters. The one that definitely seems like he took the most time out of during that section of Fire and Blood. It's the character that almost is like Brienne in a way of like Feast for Crows. Nettles is kind of that type of character. Like she's like Arya as well in a way. And so when you take that character out, which is such a pivotal part of what the dance is really all about, and even, you know, plot lines going forward, I would be very pissed off. Like, think about it like this. I used this example last week as well. I am very critical of book changes in the show. Now, multiply that by 10, that's George. This is George's world. This is his baby. This is the things that he's created. Yeah, he wants it to be as good as possible, and he definitely does not want to see some of his characters just being removed. Before the Targaryen dynasty, that's interesting. I don't know if we'll get that for a while. I don't know. If you had to do a spin-off in Essos, anytime we hear Braavos to Shy, what would it be? Probably the worst person to ask this, because I don't really like Essos that much. Like, I don't get much into the Essos like history and lore. But I think it would be cool to see the fall of Valyria. That'd be really cool. Really cool. I don't know. We're supposed to get a second battle. I'm guessing it's not tonight. No, I think it's gonna be episode 8. Radical. You think Cregan will replace Roddy the Ruin in the show? Yes. It makes sense given the fact that we haven't been introduced to that character yet, and we're in episode 7. It would be really weird to introduce a character that we don't know in the second to last or last episode. It would make sense if it was Cregan, so yeah. They could do Dare on the Young Dragon. Yeah, they definitely could. A segue into Baylor. I just don't think a Baylor show would be that interesting. They could only do like Viserys and then into the Blackfire Rebellion. That'd be cool. Why doesn't George get a say in what characters they can cut? Did HBO buy the TV rights to his franchise so they get more of a say? Well, it's one of those things where I think that's a tough question, because I even made a video about this for season 1, because there were so many changes that I'm like, I could not see George greenlighting it. I think George has a certain amount of control over it, but he doesn't get full control, would be my guess. I don't know. Is our filthy friend here? I don't know if Aegon is here. He has not revealed himself yet. But yeah. Jesus, I'd have to say a lot. I mean, they've made a lot of changes to the book material. Like, that even goes back to season 1, so I'd say a lot. I don't know. Yeah, I just love the Targaryen dynasty. The Targaryens will always be my favorite house. Maybe not for like 10 years, Grease, but eventually we could see Riss HBO can take like 10,000 Chips or other shows. Yeah, they definitely could, but we'll have to just see, right? Like, I mean, if House of the Dragon doesn't finish strong in season 2 and Dunk and Egg, maybe flops, like, I don't know, like, it's a lot to predict something 10 years from now. We got to see, like, how do they finish the dance? How do they do Dunk and Egg? And we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. That is gonna be my preview stream for episode 7. A lot of worries. I have a lot of worries for this episode. I think this is the most worried I've been about for an episode since season 1. Like when episode 1 came out. I think this is the most worried I've been for an episode. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll be back with you guys probably around like 9:15 Central United States time. And then we'll have some guests on. And we'll have a good time. Well, hope you guys all enjoyed the stream.